So in today's video, I'm going to talk about how I knew I was pregnant, how I told my husband, how I told my family, and all of that. So let's get into it. It's so much fun when I found out I was pregnant, to how I planned to tell everyone, all of that planning, how I felt like telling social media, how to tell friends and all of that, and work. It's all really fun, but it's also stressful because you're like, is it? So you might hear if he wakes up at any time, he might be hungry. So I might have to leave, go feed him, come back. So let's first get into how I knew I was pregnant. So we've been trying. So in my previous video, I talked about how I got pregnant within 2 months of me getting off of birth control. So we were like testing every month, and like we were trying to like figure out when and what, but like it wasn't like we were trying right away. We were just trying, like, just, if it happens, it happens. We're ready. Like, I just kind of had a feeling I had some bloatiness. I had some weird, not normal pregnancy like symptoms. Like, I was super gassy. Certain things I did not want to eat, which is a normal symptom. I did have to go to the bathroom a lot. That is a normal thing. So those 3 symptoms were the things that I'm like, okay, something must be weird. Either I'm not feeling good, I could be sick, I don't know. It's that a holiday time of the year where people can get sick. So I found out I was pregnant, December, I think 29th is when I take my test, and me and my husband are eating dinner while we wait for the test to come up, because you have to wait like that 3 to 5 minutes after taking the test, and it said positive. So me and my husband, we agreed for the first kid we would take the test together. So that's basically, I didn't have to tell him. He was already there when I was taking the test. But like, if we choose to have another kid, then I get to like do a creative way to tell my husband that I'm pregnant. But me and my husband chose, because it was so early. I didn't want to go around and tell people, because it is my first kid, got pregnant. So I'm like, okay, I'm waiting until I see an OB and get it confirmed that I'm pregnant before I tell people. Because, as a first-time mom, a first baby. So all those things are going in my head. It's also the holiday time. So I had to wait like a week before I could call the OB and make an appointment because of the holidays. So we went to a football game, like I think 2 days after I found out I was pregnant. And I found out very early. So I found out, because it was, I think, almost 7 days before I was supposed to get my period. I was just having those symptoms, so I decided to take a test then, and not wait till I missed my period. So I took the test, and it said positive, and then we went to a game, but I still couldn't tell like the people that we went to the game with. I saw my parents. I had to act normal and do that, and then try not to eat the foods that they tell you not to eat when you're pregnant, and drink. So it was hard to do that without giving away that I was like pregnant. And I could not see an OB until February, because I found out so early. I was only about like almost 4 weeks pregnant, almost, very early. So I couldn't see him until I was almost 9 weeks pregnant by the time I got to see an OB. And then by that time, my parents were out of the country visiting my sister in another country. So they were gone. So they were gone for about 2 or 3 weeks. I forgot how long. They were gone for a while. So I had to sit on it forever until they got home. So by the time they got home, I was almost 10 weeks pregnant. Yes, I know. I went along by the time I told my parents that I was pregnant, once they got back from their trip. And how I did that was that while they were gone on a trip, I got some mugs shipped to their house that says, "You have been promoted to Grandma and Grandpa," on mugs, since it was going to be their first grandchild ever. So I got that for them. And then for my grandma, I bought the same mug, but it said, "You have been promoted to great grandma once again." And I called her to let her know that I sent her a package, but don't open it until I tell her to. So that's how I told my grandma and my parents. So when my parents got home, I'm like, "Oh, I have some gifts for you guys, since I haven't seen you guys in a while." They didn't really think of it that I know of. And then they opened it and they were super excited. I also had my grandma on the phone at the same time. And it was so much fun telling them. And then a week before that, but after telling my parents that I was pregnant and my grandma, I called my older sister, who they were just visiting. I like FaceTimed her, and my parents showed them their mug that said "Promoted to Grandma and Grandpa." And that's how I told my oldest sister, because she didn't know, because I couldn't tell her and she's with them. But a couple weeks prior to that, I was staying at my parents' house helping take care of their dogs while they were gone. And my husband was back at our house, and I was on the phone with him, and he said something, and my other sister was home. And by what he was saying, like, my sister could pick up, like, "Oh, something's up." And then she asked me, "Are you pregnant?" Just like that. And I'm like, "Yeah, but yes, I'm pregnant, but that's not the way I wanted to tell her. I wanted to get flowers and then like have this little cute little note that says Auntie." But I wasn't able to give her that note and flowers, because like she overheard the phone call. But to my other sister that night, because I couldn't risk that my other sister accidentally says it, when my sister got home, her friend was also there, but I didn't mind. And she recorded it for us. I was like, "I have a surprise for you. Close your eyes." And so I had her close her eyes, and then I'm like, "Okay, put your hand out." And then in her hand, I put the note that said that she was going to be an aunt. And that's how I told my younger sister that she was going to be an aunt. So that was really fun. And she started crying. She's like, "What? I was just asking you the other day if you were pregnant, and you said no." Obviously, I couldn't tell her. Because at that point I didn't have my appointment yet with my doctor. But I was like, "Well, I kind of lied. I am pregnant." So I surprised her and telling her that I was pregnant. And then how I told my brother was basically after I told my parents, I basically had my brother come in and I just told him, and then he's like, I kind of figured you were. I don't know how he kind of found out, maybe just by what I was eating, my attitude, I don't know. But he's like, I just guessed you were. I'm like, okay. But that's how I told my parents, and that's how I found out I was pregnant. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I have some more videos coming out about my birth story, and other stuff. I hope you enjoyed. Talk to you later. Bye.